Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for August 22nd, 2021, with your host, Spacebreaker2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
Excuse me. I got Cassie right there when I was trying to intro. So, folks, we start Den-O. And if I did the dates right, which... let me make sure I did the dates right, because I think I did. This will actually quite literally take us to the end of the year. Because the last episode should be the 26th of December. Should, depending on, delay in a week or not. But yeah, we are covering all 49 episodes of Den-O, and then pretty much every single post-series movie of Den-O, plus like 2 movies that are decade adjacent that are Den-O. Technically. And a Kiva adjacent movie. But it's still primarily Den-O. Because I'm pretty sure this is right, but I think Den-O has the most movies to its names out of the Rider franchise by a good margin.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me.
Because Den-O is stupid popular. And I do mean stupid popular. But Den-O debuted January 28th, 2007. Its main writer is Yasuko Kobayashi, who is the writer of O's, which we've looked at, Ryuki, which we'll look at next, because was the plan. That's still the plan. As long as Shout Factory releases... As long as Shout Factory releases it on time for us to do it next year, I would hope so. I can't wait for it not to be the case.
I know, right?
Go Blusters, which we've also looked at back in the old format, and Amazons, which is one of the things she's written that I haven't liked of hers. And something I don't know if we'll ever talk about on this show, because I don't know if I want to rewatch all that.
Fair.
Like, it's 26 episodes in a movie, but I'm like, it's kind of not the most interesting 26 episodes in a movie, especially that one movie. And our main director is Ryuta Tasaki, who does a lot of writer. Like a lot of writer. But I wanted to bring up Yasuko's non-writer credentials because I stumbled upon her just plain Wikipedia page when doing up the notes and stuff. Would you care to guess what else she's written?
What?
She wrote the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Well, wrote for the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. As not a main writer, but I guess a guest writer. She has written all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure adaptations for anime. Like, I think every single one to date, including the new one that's coming out this year. And she also wrote Attack on Titan, the anime adaptation. And let's see. Is there anything else interesting? Besides the fact that she has also written Shinkenger, which I actually like Shinkenger. She wrote the live-action Sailor Moon series. She's also written Garo, which means she's almost done the full circuit of writing for Toku. Because she's also written for, what is it? Looks like she got her start in Metal Heroes before moving to Sentai. So if she could write for Ultraman, she's done the circuit. So a fairly decorated writer at this point in terms of projects. And busy. But yeah, we are covering the first 4 episodes, which feels like a mini arc in of itself, since it's all 4 about Momotaro's introduction.
Yeah.
Which feels like that's the standard for the series, so it actually fits our format really well.
Yeah, oddly well.
So, any thoughts going into these 4 episodes?
I mean, besides I'm still in my yes, let's do this phase.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just get right into it, because we will take a look at episode 1, I Have Arrived. So we follow the Denliner in the Void of Time. Did this get a name in the episode itself and I miss it? Because I didn't think it did. Because I know they talked about it, but I don't think they named it.
I don't think they did.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue to referring to it to Void of Time. But we see the Denliner, the train that, if you've been with us, you know what this train looks like. It's the time-traveling train. It is pursuing a bunch of orbs that are technically Imagin, that are our bad guys for the series. And the Imagin end up getting away and breaking through into the present day of January 28th, 2007. But at this point, we catch up with our main writer, Ryutaro, who is stuck in a tree on his bicycle, completely uninjured, with sand in his eye. As someone goes, "Sir, how?" I love that we try to show how Ryutaro got into this tree to start with. But I'm sorry, physics still says no. Physics says you shouldn't be injured at this point. How the fuck? Are we sure he has bad luck?
No.
Okay, fair. But yeah, he's in this tree because a thing for the series is that Ryutaro has incredibly stupidly bad luck that will dunk him in every bad possible situation possible. But I would argue he also has incredibly good luck because for some reason he's not dead because of this. So I think it's a balance. I think he's more cursed than having bad luck. Anyway, a guy helps him down, and he just rides off because this is normal for him. Until as he's going down the road, a bottle breaks in front of him and it pops the tire on his bike, and then he careens into a wall next to some hoodlums that decide to shake him down for his money, which he obliges. And we even see that he has his name on his wallet because he knows that they're gonna throw his wallet away after they take the money out. So he would at least like his wallet found and brought back to him. But in the middle of all this, we see the current cast of the Denliner crew, as I refer to them as all the time, because it's easier to refer to them as such. We've got Naomi, the waitress, and I guess general helping hand of the train. We've got Owner, who owns the train, I guess. I forget what Owner's whole purpose is. It doesn't help that I'm just like, what the fuck does Owner do? And then we have Hana, who I feel like should be the one with the belt, but I guess not, because it's late Phase 1 Heisei era. We're not allowed.
Yeah. Yeah. As sad as that is, yeah.
Yeah, like, why the fuck do you not have a belt? Why aren't you Deno? Why do we have to pass this off to someone else?
Reasons.
Yeah. So back with Ryotaro, the hoodlums, take his wallet and stuff, and then they leave. And then Ryotaro tries to throw away a can that's next to him, but it bounces off the trash can and hits the back of one of the hoodlums, and they're like, "Aw, you did it now!" And then proceed to beat him up because of this complete accident. So he wakes up later on some grating where he finds the ride pass and decides to go turn it into the police. But as he does, and I forgot to also note that right now he has a lot of dust coming off of him, which is a sign of a thing, and I don't know why it's this early, because it shouldn't be this early from what I was reading and what I remember. So I'm a little kerfuffled by that.
I think that's one of those just shh and go along with it.
Fair. But as he tries to enter the police station, the time coincidentally hits 11:11:11, and when he opens the door into the void of time, where the Denliner just stops next to him. Naomi leans out the door and is just like, "Would you like a coffee, sir?" And then gives him a coffee, and then Ryotaro takes it and leaves. But before he does that, Hana hops out of the train and leaves through a different door to go find the rider pass that was apparently hers. But as Ryotaro leaves, and it's just like, well, that happened. We follow Hana as she tries to find the rider pass. Can't find it, but she does pick up the keychain from one of the hoodlums, because that's going to be a plot point in these, 5 minutes. We catch up with one of said hoodlums as he's looking for the keychain. He asks the cop. The cop points him to Ryotaro because Ryotaro was trying to return something and didn't, because apparently he forgot and left. But as the hoodlum leaves, he gets possessed by an Imagine, who asks him what his wish is. And then we go to Ryotaro, as another one possesses him, and tries to ask him what his wish is, but Ryotaro doesn't see him, so he runs him over.
Which is kind of fitting for their relationship.
Yes. I don't know what the purpose is, but I find it weird that the Imagines start out as like half their body is coming up out of the ground and is all made up of all sand, but the lower half of their body is above their head coming out of nothing.
Yeah.
What? Why? This seems excessive.
Yeah.
Why can't it just be the bottom portion? I don't know why we need the top portion thing. It seems like a lot of work for nothing. But anyway, we cut to the Milk Dipper, which is the coffee shop ran by Ryuto's sister Ari, that every single patron of the shop wants to ask out on a date for some reason. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm just gonna not like every part of this subplot because it feels stupid.
Same.
I'm just like, why are you all... Why? What about this woman has you all infatuated? Like this bad. Like literally this bad. Like y'all need to calm down. But like two of the regulars kind of shoo everybody off as Ryutaro drops in. And again, I love how Ari's just like, did you get hit by a manhole cover? Did this happen? I'm like, what fucking nonsense has happened to this man, and how is he not dead? Like, I'm still not sure this is bad luck, to be honest.
I mean, true.
Yeah. But they try to wipe the sand off of him again, because there's a bunch of sand coming out of him. But that's when Ryutaro remembers he still has the ride pass, so he leaves to try to return it again. But as he's heading out, the Deadlighter pulls up next to him and travels along with him as Hana leans out the door and is like, by the way, the thing is mine. Can you give it to me, please? And for some reason, Ryutaro's like, no. And tries to run away from this random train trying to catch riding alongside him. And strange woman yelling at him about a thing. Which, fair. But I would think with his bad luck, stranger things have happened to him.
You would think.
Mm-hmm. But as he rides off, he ends up running into the hoodlums that decide that he stole the keychain, so they beat him up for it. Until the Imagine that possessed him takes over his body and proceeds to beat the shit out of all of them. But eventually Ryutaro gets back control, and before things get too bad, and he kind of runs off because it's like, the fuck is going on? And that's when the Imagine shows itself, and it's Momotaro's. I'm not going to play the game where he doesn't have a name yet, and then it's Momotaro, and then it's Momotaro's. No, it's Momotaro's. That's just who this is. But he pops out, goes over the rules of the wish and stuff. Before Hana shows up, and is just like, you could do that stuff because you're a singularity point. Which I don't think they explained what a singularity point is.
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to do the show's work on this one because I don't remember when this happens, and we might as well just know this now. Essentially, a singularity point can't be affected by time travel or changes to time. Like, no matter what, they kind of just exist.
In that aspect, I guess, as far as comic book terms would go, that'd be like akin to an Nexus being kind of deal.
Pretty much.
Someone that can not really control it, but is kind of immune to changes around them.
Yeah. Which, you know, makes the whole thing with Heisei Generation Over for confusing, because it's like, wait, that's not how the singularity point works. Like, you can't put them in a box and then time the alterations to time happen. No, that doesn't. No, it only affects them.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Whatever.
Yeah. We don't think about trying to keep continuity with stuff. You know that.
Yeah. But yeah, there's more to Den-O's time travel, but I'm gonna let the show explain that. I'm just gonna explain the whole singularity point thing now, because I'm just gonna fucking explain it now, and because I think we're gonna keep throwing out that term until someone decides, wait, what the fuck does that mean, for a while, I think. And it's just that. It's not anything more than that, I think. But anyway, after Hana explains this, the hoodlum shows up, and then the Imagine that's possessing him pops out. It's the Bat Imagine. And it tries to attack them. And Hana's like, you have to transform into Den-O. And he's like, what am I doing? So the right pass spawns the belt. He puts the belt on, and he scans the pass, and he becomes Den-O Platform. Yes, it is called Platform. Japan loves their puns. Unfortunately, it is like a really weak form, because it's just Ryutaro, and he's not much of a fighter. So he proceeds to get his ass handed to him, until Momotaros tells him to tag him in, which he does by hitting the red button on the belt and scanning it, and then it becomes Den-O sword form, which is the Den-O everyone knows. So Momotaros makes quick work of the Batamajin, takes it out with his finisher that he always calls part 2, because look, there is exactly one brain cell among our 3 main characters at the moment, and Hana has to share. Unfortunately, she has to share. But they take it out. Hana takes Ryutaro to the Den liner, but we see the Imagine is reforming and still possessing the guy as the episode ends. Which takes us to episode 2, right on time. So on the Den liner, Naomi is prepping them coffee and stuff, which I'll make reference now, even though you haven't seen the show. Naomi is played by Mana's actress from Agito. Mana was a supporting character in Agito, so this is her doing supporting character role again, which is kind of cool. But there was a cooler one in episode 3 and 4 that I didn't even know about until I was looking at wiki information and trivia and stuff.
Okay.
But anyway, she preps coffee for them as Momotaros pops out in person, and we see that he is Red Oni, essentially. And this freaks out Ryutaro, so he passes out. But as he's recovering, Hana chews out Momotaros and just beats him up, because, for reference, Hana is stupidly strong because she just is, and she could probably take the Imagine crew without trying. Which, again, why does she not have a belt? Like, it would make things a little awkward later in the show when we get to a certain point, but yeah. But meanwhile, we see the Batmajin is stealing keychains off people, specifically by grabbing people, flying them up into the air, stealing the keychain, and then letting them go so they fall down into the ground. Which we see this one person just splat into a bunch of leaves, and I presume they're dead. Gruesomely so. Because what the fuck? That's a bit excessive. But he's looking for the guy's keychain, and is going to keep doing that for the rest of the episode. But back with Ryotaro and Hana, we find out that fulfilling the wish from the Imagine, that if the Imagine fulfills the wish, they get to steal a person's time. And they don't go into more yet on what that means, but we'll get to it. But Hama and Momotaros fight some more until Ryotaro tries to break it up and gets motion sick. So they have to stop the train and let him get some air outside. And that's when they talk about the void of time. The Deadliner can use to travel to any point in time, really, whether it's the past, the present, or the future. Which is why I call it the void of time, because it's just outside the timeline. Which only the Deadliner and Deadliner-esque things can get into. Which makes the one time the Tokyo bad guys got in there very confusing. Of how the fuck did you access the timeline? But at this point, Hana finds out she's got the keychain, and Ryotaro decides to take it back. So he gets dropped off at the Milk Dipper to get a drink from his sister before heading out. He ends up getting spotted by the hoodlums when he finds them because a dog pees on him. Rude. That is incredibly rude of that good boy.
Yes, it is.
But they end up respecting him because he beat them up, and by he, it's Momotaros that beat them up. So they point him in the direction. And as he's heading there, he runs into one of the regulars that I'm not even going to bother remembering the name of because I don't care. I do not care about these two guys, these two regulars of the Milk Dipper.
I mean, fair.
I honestly don't. It's one of them. Because I feel like that's just their entire purpose, is just whatever things we need to do in the Milk Dipper, they're there to be a part of, and that's it. So, poo, I'm not going to bother. But he tells Ryotaro about what's going on, and this aggravates Momotaro, so he takes over, accidentally beats up the guy, and then they leave to go confront the hoodlum in the Imagine. But on the rooftop, Ryotaro tries to return the keychain, only for the Batamajin to catch it when he throws it. And when he returns it, it lets him go through this guy and use him to travel back in time to a specific moment in his past. Therefore, he can cause chaos in the past, and it has an immediate effect on the present because you mucked with the space-time continuum, and now bad things are happening, essentially. But when this happened, Hana drops by with a ticket, and it just holds it over the guy, and it gives the date of where the Imagine went. And Hana asked the guy if what was important about that date, because where the Imagine travels back to is some important memory for the person. In this case, it was it Christmas or Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve.
Okay, Christmas Eve of the previous year. The guy was out too late partying and being with his friends and didn't make it to the hospital before his mother passed away, and got the gift from a nurse, which that's a bit fucked. Jesus. that's on the dark side. But since they know when and where now, Ryuichiro transforms in the Den-O because Momotaros takes over to go sword form after Ryuichiro transforms. And they take the Den liner, which... How do you feel about the Den bird being the steering wheel for the train?
I mean, I'm kind of fine with that.
It's kind of funny. It's just like, this is what the bike is. The steering wheel.
But you know what's also funny?
What?
Wouldn't that actually mean that Den-O would be one of the first riders to, you know, have something besides a bike?
Of the Heisei era, yes, because technically Black RX had a car.
I mean, fair.
Yeah. But I think of the Heisei era, yes. Unless you want to count the trailer that G3 uses to put his armor on. That is not his.
Okay, main riders.
I mean, he doesn't even drive it. He's just in the back, and then they put the armor on, and then he just hops out the back with the bike. So, technically not even that, but yeah. Yeah, I would say so, because the year after this is when Ixa got his big, like, backhoe thing. And I don't think, well, Kiva also has his castle dragon thing, but that again, that's the year after. So, yeah. It works. Anyway, they head out. They find the Imagine has already jacked the truck and has started running into stuff. And like I said, when he runs into stuff, it immediately is like destroyed in the present, which that seems bad. It also shouldn't quite work that way when it comes to time travel, but Den-O's logic with time travel is more of a, look, if you fuck with stuff, the space-time continuum has a conniption about it and has to figure out what the fuck to do. And the more you do, the more it has to figure out how to sort this out. So, it essentially, if you muck with things, it's bad. Especially if you do really bad things. Anyway, they managed to get the guy to stop, or managed to get the truck stopped and save a kid. And I know who this is, but I can't help now realizing it that Narataki dresses like this guy in Decade. And I don't know if that's on purpose.
Oh god, you're right.
Except for some reason he has a red baseball cap on under the other hat that he's wearing. Because you can spot the rim of it. But yeah, Narataki looking guy is in the department store where the truck about ran into and is observing events and has a pocket watch. I will say this now. Spoilers. This man is not our main villain. Before you even think, no, he is not the main villain. We will get to who the main villain of Den-O is. This isn't it. Because I'm pretty sure this is what this guy does for like 20 plus episodes of just be in the background and watch a thing before leaving. So don't expect progress on him too fast. But anyway, the Imagine hops out of the guy. Momotaros fights him as Den-O, takes him down, except it goes big CG monster, so they didn't have to deploy all the weapons that are on the Den liner. and they blow up the monster, blow up the big CG monster. And before they leave, they decide to take the guy onto the den liner and drop him off at the hospital so he can say bye to his mom, before she passes away. Which technically is an alteration of the timeline, but not enough to matter. Which, fair, I guess?
Yeah.
It's not like we are radically altering this guy's future. We're more just, hey, you get a better outlook on life. Because we solved the problem. We let you not have a regret about something. But that is our first 2 episodes. So how'd you feel about them?
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of at first felt like we were kind of I felt like I was kind of gonna have a problem with Ryutaro to begin with.
Yeah, he does come off that way of just like, oh no.
At the beginning, I was like, oh, this is gonna that's gonna drive me up the wall until we get somewhere in this. And then as we progress through these two, I'm like, oh, I get the dynamic now. I'm fine with that.
Ryutaro has to be the straight man to all the shenanigans of the Denliner crew.
It's one of those, the more I was seeing of that, I'm like, okay, I'm fine with this.
Yeah. Because we've seen the Denliner crew in action. They are incredibly eccentric, incredibly with some big personalities. Someone has to counterpoint all that.
And I almost feel like that was probably the reason I was kind of like that at the beginning. But yeah, that opening scenes with him, it's like,
Sir, are you okay? Sir, I think you need to see a seance person or someone, because you are cursed.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
But we'll see this more over the course of the series. But I have to give prop to Ryutaro's actor, because he's going to have to play more and more characters through sheer body language, because he's getting dubbed over by their respective voice actors. And he has to do it all convincingly.
Dang.
Yeah, because remember, like as you see in the picture, and as if you followed us, there's 4 different characters. They are all very distinct people with their own distinct mannerisms and stuff, and Ryutaro has to match all 4 of them on his own while being dubbed over. Because I assume he's doing all the voice lines and stuff, but he's just being dubbed over. Because I think in the next 2 episodes, he actually is doing the voice lines instead of the voice actor. For a few scenes at least. But he has to convincingly act like Momotaro's, while Momotaro's has his own suit actor. And I also believe that all 4 of the Imagine have their own own dedicated suit actors, if I recall correctly. So it's yeah. And then there's, I think, at least 2 more that he also has to do for a few episodes at least. So damn, Ryutaro's got range to do all this heavy lifting for the series. Because he also has to do some of these back to back in the same scene. So yeah, let it not be understated that Ryutaro's actor is really good. It's no wonder he took off and got really big. But anyway, shall we move on to the second half?
I guess we shall.
All right, we pick up with episode 3, Outlaw Momotaro. So we see some random person with their own rider pass depart the Denliner. We'll talk about that later when we talk about how Deno's time travel works. Because technically the Denliner is a functioning train. Technically. But this is when Hana drops in to berate Momotaros for, being rough with Ryutaro, as we see him limp home because he's not feeling really good. But as he's limping home, a thief runs into him and knocks him out after knocking him down some stairs before he's confronted by a bunch of Yakuza. That when Momotaro hears this, he pops out and beats up the thugs and saves the thief. Now, I ask you this. Do you recognize the thief?
I feel like I should.
I'll be honest, I didn't realize this until I was seeing it. This man will later go on to play a character in a future Rider series. Gaim specifically.
That's okay. Yeah.
Hi, Sid. I didn't even realize this was Sid until I was looking at trivia and stuff, and it's like, wait a minute. Sid?
I'm not gonna lie, I was legitimately throughout the entire two-parter like, I know you from something. Why?
It must be because he sans his bowler hat, but I'm like, I honestly did not recognize him. Granted, I'm incredibly terrible at that.
Apparently, I'm not too good at it either.
I think I'm better at recognizing when I hear similar voices in something rather than faces, because he doesn't sound like Sid.
Fair.
But anyway, Momotaros makes a save and him and the thief run off. The guy is grateful, so he takes him to a local clothes shop and buys Momotaros his usual get-up that Ryutaro does a quick change into whenever Momotaros takes over later in the show, I think. Because that's a thing. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, we check in with Ari real quick as she's prepping some flower bandage thing to help Ryutaro. Okay, sure, moving on. But we eventually see Momotaro, as he's still in control, run into some cops. And then Hana sees all this and is just like, Momotaro, get your ass back here now. So he does, leaving Ryutaro alone with the cops. And she's like, get to a door, we'll pick you up. So Ryutaro does. I do like that there's a little drama about trying to catch the train because of the very, very, very small time frame and the odd numbering thing in order to catch it.
Yeah. I like that too.
Because it has to be, for reference, folks, it has to be sequential numbers. So it has to be either 1:11 with 11 seconds, 2:22 with 22 seconds, etc., etc. Which also means that technically you can't catch the train at 7, 8, or 9 o'clock. So there's like 3 hours you cannot access the Denliner.
Unless it utilizes some kind of oddball thing.
Unless that just has to be 777.
Well, I mean, that still wouldn't work either, though.
Right. Might be overthinking it, but oh well. But Ryotaro gets away, and well, now they got the cops to deal with. And this is when Owner introduces himself as strange, mysterious person who says a lot of nothing sometimes as he tries to explain stuff. Essentially, he just explains that time moves forward regardless of what happens, and we just got to deal with it and make sure it stays in one piece. Essentially, I guess. I'll be honest. I don't know who Owner is to this day. I just know him as guy who eats rice and tries not to have a flag fall down while he eats it, which is a weird thing to do, but Owner gotta be eccentric, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
But we also know that Hana is the one that made a deal with him to help stop Imagine, which makes me wonder what they were doing before now, since Hana has no belt. Presumably, it wasn't Den-O before this, or tried to be Den-O before this. So, like, did she just go out and punch Imagine? Which, to be fair,
I mean,
would be badass.
And to be fair, is kind of what we see her continuously do to Momotaros.
Yeah.
So,
like, if her job before this was just to go out and just punch Imagine left, right, and center, like, fucking hell yeah. Anyway, we do see the thief get possessed by another Imagine, and he wishes to have all the money. So the Imagine goes and tries to steal all the money. We see him start to steal, and we also see that the thief tries to do the, launch his music career by just performing for free on the streets, wanting tips. But that night, Momotaros takes over Rizuru again, and he goes to meet up with the thief, who is trying to who's going to break into some Yakuza building, steal some money, and run away and let Momotaros beat up anybody that follows. And I do give Momotaros credit for going, I would like this exact amount of money that I spent of Ryutaro's to get clothes when I didn't ask permission to do so. Because Momotaros is a dumbass, but he's a nice guy sometimes. Because Ryutaro was a little bit upset about the whole, I'm now broke, I guess. Because he also says that, like, his job cut his pay, and I don't think we see where he works.
I don't either.
Because he doesn't work at the Milk Dipper. Which, why would he not work there to start with? That's the weird part. I'm just like, wait, where do you work if not at the one coffee shop we see? Did you not want to work there? Anyway. The guy runs in, and Momotaros is waiting outside, only for Hana to show up and be like, motherfucker, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out now. Because Hana is in no mood until Momotaros is like, there's an Imagine nearby, we need to go deal with it. And then they proceed to try to go deal with it, and it gets away when Momotaros tries to do his finisher because it's a chameleon, and it turned invisible and ran away. But once it runs away, Momotaros is just like, oh fuck, I gotta go help the guy, and proceeds to untransform and tries to go help the guy. But along the way, Ryotaro's like, get the fuck out of my body. And Momotaro's like, fine, and leaves. So the thief runs into Ryotaro and they're surrounded by the Yakuza guys that are going to beat him up with sticks, with their nightsticks. And Ryotaro has to figure out what to do. And that's where we end the third episode, which takes us to episode 4, Get Out Oni, I Am Serious. So Ryotaro, I guess being in this position long enough, knows police response times. So he just stalls long enough for the cops to get nearby and distract the Yakuza so that him and the thief can run away. Because I feel like he knew that was going to happen.
Most definitely.
But Hana ends up losing track of them and begins searching for Ryotaro. Later on, Ryotaro and the thief talk, and Ryotaro wants to turn themselves in because they kind of stole money. And they should, except it's Yakuza money, so technically it's a crime.
It's in the little gray zone.
It's a gray crime. It's in that morally gray area. But anyway, the guy doesn't want to, and the Imagine flies in and takes him away. Ryotaro tries to follow, but oh fuck, I'm still hurt. I can't, and just kind of leaves. But that's when Hana drops by the milk dipper to see where Ryotaro is, and Ari's there. And she's like, come in, have a drink, and just wait. He'll probably show up eventually. This happens a lot. And she eventually tells her that she thinks that Ryotaro is unlucky because his lucky star's light hasn't reached Earth yet. Because, for those that don't know, the speed of light is only so fast. So the stars you see might be from suns that are dead, technically, because our distance from them exceeds the speed of light by several metric values or several exponential values. So technically, yes, that is true. I'm pretty sure that's not how his luck works, but sure.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. But she also enjoys the coffee because, as we find out, Naomi makes the coffee by typing in, I guess, the coffee she wants to make, pouring it out with a gas pump. Or no, just a nozzle, and then putting excessive amounts of whipped cream, I think, on them for some reason. I don't know who taught Naomi how to make coffee, but no, please. Why are you putting whipped cream on them? I assume it's whipped cream. I honestly don't know what she puts on them. But anyway, we fast forward to Ryotaro and Hana being back on the train. Where they catch up, and Momotaro's is like, hey, I know where the thief is, and has already drawn a map of where it is and had slipped it into Ryotaro's pocket. So they pull out the map and they decide to go to it. But Ryotaro's like, I'm going to take him alone. I don't need your help. Not because of what you did. Bye. So they end up heading out, but they don't make it before the Imagine, who's buried this guy in money, finally says the wish is granted. So the Imagine heads through. Excuse me. They do the whole scan ticket. They find out that this guy missed an audition because he helped the kid, or helped the lost kid to a police station so she could get reunited. So he missed the audition, and because of that, his band broke up. So, bad day. So they head to where that was. The Imagine's already there, wrecking shit when they show up. Ryotaro and Hana split up. Ryotaro tells Hana, get the guy to his audition, help the kid. I'll distract the Imagine. And he distracts the Imagin by getting the shit kicked out of him. Because unfortunately, Ryotaro is not good at fighting. He is very sturdy, but can't throw a punch for shit. But Hana takes the kid and tells the guy to go to his audition. So that's solved for the moment. And as Ryotaro is being beat up, Momotaro's is like, all right, fine. I'm sorry. I fucked up. Will you tag me in, please, before you die? And Ryotaro does. So Momotaro takes over. They go Den-O sword form. They blow up Monster. Day is saved. As we find out that the guy made the audition, but it didn't matter. But he has a better outlook on life. So, as the owner says, the space-time continuum is fine because we didn't fuck up the timeline at all. Or we didn't fuck it up enough to matter. So, yay! But as the Denliner travels, we see another Imagin pop up from the trail of the tracks, observing the Denliner, and we'll meet that one next week. So, how'd you feel about our second half?
Well, I mean, I'm still liking it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's gonna change.
Yeah, I like that this, like, as much as Momotaro is an Imagin and a bad guy, this firmly establishes the relationship and solidifies. It's like, look, yes, he's a bad, yes, he is the monster, but he's a nice one, and like, he'll fuck up, but he'll try to make up for his fuck ups. Sometimes fucking up in the process. Because like I said, there is one brain cell among these three people, and it's Hana's, and she has to share.
Uh-huh. Which usually doesn't end well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice, like, little for like mini arc, more or less, since it's all about establishing the dynamic at the moment, and gets a lot of like foundational work for the show out of the way. So good so far. I'm happy. I'm glad to be watching good writer after Saber.
I mean,
And
it
after-
couldn't have been that bad. Yes, it
I'll
could.
be honest, Saber is not the worst writer show I've seen. I actually said in a tweet for Bugs Demands podcast of, you know what my worst writer series is? Geo.
Yeah.
But they're like, no writer show's the worst. It's like a weaker writer show. And I'm like, I mean, that's kind of the same thing. We're just saying it differently, but fair. Because, like, Geo can be fixed. The problem is it takes more to fix Geo than it does other shows.
Yeah.
There's a lot more wrong with this series. And, well, when I was in the chat, I rarely had good things to say. Very, very rarely had good things to say from all the different topics they went through. Yeah, Den-O's good. I'm enjoying it. So next week, we meet, imagine the second of the Denliner crew, Utaros. I think it's Utaros. He's the one that I'm like, fuck, how do you pronounce his name? Because it's Momotaros, Utaros, Kintaros, Ryutaros. It's always Utaros that I'm like, wait, how do I pronounce this name? Because it's spelled a little weird. But yeah, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm continuing Great Ace Attorney, so we can stay on track since I lost a day because of internet issues. Friday, we continue Four Swords Adventure. Saturday, we talk shop on games with the Gaming Saloon, and we pick up from here next Sunday. So, anything else to add?
No, I can't think of nothing.
All right, then if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. I really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At Jesus Soon on Twitter gets you updates when we're live. Next Mission Point Discord and chat gets this link. Drop by, say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.